Mr. Speaker, I am very glad to participate in tonight's debate, and I think I'm going to take the opportunity to present some facts, because I think that facts are extremely important. I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I think that it would be beneficial to put on the record some of the facts. It's been said once tonight, but I'll expand on it slightly. 90% of truckers have been vaccinated. You know, Mr. Speaker, I drive to and from Ottawa to get here. I drive from Kingston to Ottawa and back, and I have seen on both occasions of making that travel since this protest began, countless truckers that are working right now as we speak, traveling up and down the 401 or whatever major highway in the country they might happen to be in order to move goods around our country. 90% of truckers are vaccinated. I actually believe, Mr. Speaker, that this inception of this protest, this convoy, probably started from a place that was genuinely about truckers and about concerns that they had. But unfortunately, we've seen this morph into something as it's been hijacked by other groups. And as so well pointed out by one of my conservative colleagues in a tweet over the weekend, whatever the objective was, it's been lost by those that have hijacked this protest, unfortunately. And that's the reality of the situation that we're in. You know, I find it interesting. I heard the member from Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, and a number of conservatives this evening talk about these mandates. I mean, his words, these mandates need to be ended. The mandates, as it relates to proof of vaccination, the mandates as it relates to hospital workers, those are all provincial mandates. It's ironic that the opposition would encourage protesters out front of this building to protest something that, at least in Ontario, belongs in Queen's Park. But they do it anyways. As a matter of fact, the only mandate that the federal government has in place is a mandate that says if you cross the border into Canada, including truckers, you need to show proof of vaccination. But guess what? The United States of America has the exact same mandate. So before you even had to present your proof of vaccination to a Canada border officer on your way into Canada, you will have had to shown it on your way into the United States leaving Canada. Right. And that's the irony of it. That is the mandate that the federal government has as it relates to this particular protest, as it relates to where all this angst began. But yet, my concern is that the opposition continues to throw fuel on the fire. The member from Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, these mandates, he knows full well that the mandate of crossing borders for truckers applies to the U.S. just as much as it applies to Canada. So I heard from across the way, well, why do it then? Well, that's the whole point of working with our G7 partners. That's the whole point of working with the United States, so that we do have fairness and equality as it relates to what the rules are to move back and forth. And that's what makes it work so well.
Like the rules for your electric car.
Well, the member brought up my electric car. If he wants, we can talk about that for a while too, but I'm not sure, you know, why a conservative would want to do that when we're talking about such an important debate tonight as it relates to truckers specifically and as it relates to what we're seeing out there. But you know what we are seeing, Mr. Speaker, is we're seeing a number of people that are hijacking this protest. You know, the member from Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan said earlier, and I actually think it was a really good comment, and he talked about why aren't more members of Parliament getting out there and talking to these people? You know, he's trying to show and open a door there. The problem is, Mr. Speaker, is that this particular protest, although I have no doubt there are some well-intentioned individuals participating in it, have attracted a lot more behavior that we all would agree is extremely problematic, extremely troubling, and quite frankly, behavior that we do not accept as being Canadian. So I'll tell you an example, Mr. Speaker.
Order. I'm really having a hard time hearing the member. The member does speak very loud, but I'm having trouble hearing him. So if we can just sort of keep it down, be respectful, and we'll continue on. The honourable member for Kingston and the Islands.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And so where I was going with this is that although there might be some well-meaning and well-intentioned individuals out there, I can't help but think of just the other day when I was in the Rexall at the corner of Metcalfe and O'Connor. I was in there, and I saw a protester. I have to assume that the individual was a protester. I should make that clear. Shove a camera in front of the clerk's face, saying, "You can't make me put on a mask. I have a right not to wear a mask. Who do you think you are?" Like, this individual was going, they brought this fight to the people of Ottawa, to a store clerk who's literally just working there doing her job. And I couldn't help but say to the gentleman as I was leaving, "Why are you bringing this fight to her? Your fight's not with her. She's just doing her job." And I trust that my Conservative colleagues and any member of this House would do the exact same thing. And that brings me to the last point that I wanted to bring up as it relates to this particular issue, Mr. Speaker, is that for some reason, the protesters don't realize that those that they are affecting the most by this are the people that live in downtown Ottawa. Listen, I don't know if we should tell them this, Mr. Speaker, but we cannot hear the honking in here. As a matter of fact, you can walk in here early in the morning. You don't hear a single thing, and this was all last week too. You don't hear a single thing in here. You don't. And you almost forget that it's even happening until you get up and leave and go outside and you see it again. Meanwhile, all of the activities that have been going on, and then on the weekend when members of Parliament the vast majority aren't even in Ottawa, these events continue to go on and on. It's impacting the people that live here. I mean, most protests seek to get more people on board by delivering a message, seek to find more supporters to come and join their cause. Most protests that would come to Ottawa here and come to the front lawn or to the Centennial Flame or Wellington Street do so in a way that is meant to develop a following on the way. But instead, this protest has come here and just completely made the people that live here irate with what's going on. And so I believe that it's time for this to end. I believe that it's time for the protesters to recognize the fact that they've made their point, and now it's time to dispense of the activities and to go home. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.